The Soviet Union deployed hundreds of aircraft during the Great Patriotic War, from rugged fighter planes to massive bombers and specialized attack aircraft. This video breaks down every important machine the Red Air Force threw against the Luftwaffe and Axis forces from 1941 to 1945. Fighters and interceptors. Polikarpov of Rust-15. This stubby biplane fighter, nicknamed Chaika, or Seagull for its distinctive gull-shaped upper wing, was already obsolete when war broke out. Armed with 4 machine guns, it remained deadly in skilled hands but suffered horrifically against modern German fighters. Many were relegated to ground attack missions where their ruggedness kept them flying. Polikarpov of Rust-16, known as the Rata, or Rat to Republicans in Spain. This revolutionary fighter was the world's first low-wing monoplane with retractable landing gear. Incredibly agile but difficult to fly, it featured a portly fuselage and stubby wings. Soviet pilots called it Ishuk, the donkey, and despite being outclassed by 1941, it fought desperately through the early war disasters. Polikarpov of Rust-15-3. The final evolution of the Chaika. This biplane actually entered service after the I-16 monoplane, representing a puzzling step backward in design philosophy. Its retractable landing gear was unique for a biplane, and exceptional maneuverability made it effective at low altitudes. It excelled in ground attack roles where its rugged construction could absorb tremendous punishment. Mikoyan Gurevich, MiG-1. A high-altitude interceptor rushed into production just before the German invasion. The MiG-1 featured excellent high-altitude performance but proved dangerously unstable at low speeds. Poorly finished and difficult to fly, it was quickly superseded by improved variants. Most were destroyed on the ground in the opening days of Barbarossa. Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-3. An improved version addressing the MiG-1's stability issues. This fighter excelled at high altitude, but most Eastern Front combat occurred below 4,000 meters where it was outperformed. Its heavy armament and speed made it valuable for intercepting high-flying German reconnaissance aircraft. Production ceased in 1942 as resources shifted to ground attack aircraft. Lavochkin, Log-3. A wooden fighter constructed entirely from laminated wood due to strategic metal shortages. Pilots nicknamed it the Varnished Guaranteed Coffin. Overweight and underpowered, it was nonetheless tough as nails and could absorb incredible battle damage. Later variants with improved engines became more competitive against German fighters. Lavochkin Log-5. By replacing the Log-3's inline engine with a powerful radial, designers created one of the war's finest fighters. Lighter, faster, and more maneuverable than its predecessor, the Log-5 could finally meet the FW-190 on equal terms. It became the mount of many Soviet aces during the crucial battles of 1943. Lavochkin Log-7. The ultimate evolution of the Lavochkin line. This sleek fighter featured metal spars, reduced weight, and phenomenal low-altitude performance. Armed with 3 20mm cannons, it was the favored aircraft of legendary ace Ivan Kozhedub, who scored 62 victories flying it. Many consider it the finest Soviet fighter of the war. Yakovlev, Yak-1. This nimble fighter arrived just in time for the German invasion, featuring excellent handling characteristics and a well-balanced design. Its mixed wood and metal construction allowed rapid production despite material shortages. Pilots praised its light controls and dogfighting capability, making it a crucial counterweight to German air superiority. Yakovlev Yak-3. Possibly the best dogfighter of the entire war. The Yak-3 was small, light, and devastatingly agile, below 5,000 meters. German pilots were warned to avoid combat with Yak-3s below this altitude. Its wooden construction kept it light, while the powerful engine gave it exceptional acceleration and climb rate. Yakovlev Yak-7. Originally designed as a 2-seat trainer, the Yak-7 was rapidly converted into a capable fighter when the German invasion created desperate demand. Heavier than the Yak-1, but featuring improved stability and range, it served effectively throughout 1942. Many variants served as reconnaissance and ground attack aircraft. Yakovlev Yak-9. The most produced Soviet fighter of the war with over 16,000 built, the Yak-9 was versatile and reliable. Multiple variants included long-range escorts, tank busters with 37mm cannons, and dedicated bomber destroyers with 45mm guns. Its adaptability made it invaluable across all fronts and roles. Yakovlev Yak-9, a late-war improvement featuring an all-metal construction and powerful VK-107 engine. This variant could reach 700 km/h and climb exceptionally well. It represented the pinnacle of Soviet piston engine fighter design. Only produced in limited numbers, it remained in service well into the jet age. Bell P-39 Airacobra. American Lend-Lease fighters that Soviet pilots adored, while American pilots despised them. The mid-mounted engine and 37mm nose cannon made it deadly at low altitudes where most Eastern Front combat occurred. Soviet aces like Alexander Pokrishkin achieved legendary status flying Airacobras, with the type scoring more Soviet kills than any other Lend-Lease fighter. Bell P-63 King Cobra. an improved and more powerful version of the Airacobra, delivered in large numbers under Lend-Lease, but arriving too late to see significant combat. Faster and better performing than its predecessor, most served in training roles or were transferred to other Soviet services. Some saw limited action in Manchuria against Japan. Curtiss P-40 Warhawk. Early Lend-Lease fighters that arrived when Soviet industry was most desperate. These rugged American fighters served primarily in secondary theaters. Soviet pilots found them durable but heavy compared to their nimble Yaks and Lavochkins. Most were relegated to ground attack roles where their toughness proved valuable. Hawker Hurricane. British fighters supplied in large numbers during 1941 to 1942 when Soviet factories were evacuating east. While obsolescent by Western standards, they were better than nothing during the darkest days. Soviet pilots appreciated their ruggedness but found them sluggish. Many were converted to ground attack roles in the north. Ground attack aircraft. Ilyushin, Il-2 Shturmovik. The legendary flying tank, the most produced military aircraft in history with over 36,000 built. Its armored bathtub protected the pilot and engine from ground fire while carrying rockets, bombs, and cannons to devastate German armor. German soldiers called it the Black Death and feared its appearance above the battlefield more than any other aircraft. Ilyushin Il-10, an improved Shturmovik entering service in late 1944, featuring better aerodynamics, more armor, and improved armament. The rear gunner finally received proper protection, addressing a critical vulnerability. Faster and more survivable than the Il-2, it represented the ultimate evolution of the armored ground attack concept. Polikarpov U-2, Po-2. Originally a primary trainer nicknamed Kukuruznik or Maizduster, this humble biplane became a legendary night harassment bomber. Flying at treetop level in total darkness, they dropped small bombs on German positions, destroying sleep and morale. The famous Night Witches all-female bomber regiment flew Po-2s with devastating psychological effect. Sukhoi Su-2, a light bomber and reconnaissance aircraft that entered service just before the war, featuring excellent visibility and decent bomb load. Vulnerable to fighters and lacking adequate protection, most were destroyed in the catastrophic opening months. Production ceased as resources shifted to the Il-2 Shturmovik, which proved far more survivable. Petlyakov P-2, the outstanding Peshka dive bomber, often called the Soviet Mosquito for its versatility and performance. Fast, agile, and capable of precision bombing, it served in bomber, reconnaissance, and fighter roles throughout the war. Its twin engines and three-man crew made it one of the most successful Soviet tactical aircraft designs. Tupolev Tu-2, a superb medium bomber that arrived too late to achieve its full potential, combining speed, range, and heavy bomb load in an elegant package. Superior to the P-2 in almost every way, production delays meant it entered service only in 1944. Pilots praised its handling and resilience, and it served into the 1950s. Petlyakov P-3, a heavy fighter variant of the P-2 bomber, featuring nose-mounted cannons and machine guns for the fighter role. It served effectively as a long-range escort and night fighter, protecting bomber streams and intercepting German raiders. The conversion proved the basic P-2 design's remarkable versatility. Yakovlev Yak-6, a simple twin-engine light transport and liaison aircraft built largely of wood, designed for rapid production using non-strategic materials, it could operate from rough forward airstrips. While not glamorous, it kept Soviet commanders connected and moved priority cargo when heavier transports couldn't land. Bombers. Tupolev TB-3, a massive four-engine heavy bomber from the 1930s that was utterly obsolete by 1941. Slow, lumbering, and vulnerable, it nonetheless served desperately in the early war as a night bomber and paratrooper transport. Some were even used as makeshift glider tugs and for evacuating encircled troops. Ilyushin DB-3, Il-4, the principal Soviet long-range bomber throughout the war, capable of reaching Berlin from Soviet airfields. This twin-engine bomber conducted the famous first raids on Berlin in 1941, boosting morale during the darkest days. Tough and reliable, it served in bombing, torpedo, and mine-laying roles across all theaters. Petlyakov P-8, the Soviet Union's only four-engine heavy bomber to see significant service, comparable to the B-17 or Lancaster. Only 79 were built due to resource constraints and Stalin's preference for tactical aircraft. It could carry the massive FAB 5000 bomb and conducted special long-range missions including flying Molotov to America. Tupolev SB, once the world's fastest bomber in the mid-1930s, by 1941 it was a death trap. Nicknamed high-speed coffin by crews, it suffered catastrophic losses against German fighters. Most survivors were relegated to training or reconnaissance roles where their speed provided some protection. Ilyushin, Il-10, the ultimate development of the armored attack aircraft concept, entering service in the war's final year. Heavily armed and armored, it could survive intense ground fire while delivering devastating firepower. Production continued after the war, serving in Korea and equipping multiple Soviet client states. Yermolayev, Yer-2, a promising long-range bomber featuring excellent speed and payload capacity. It entered limited production in 1940. Quality control issues and the chaos of evacuation limited its impact. The few squadrons that received it performed well on long-range strikes, but production ceased as resources went to more critical aircraft. Reconnaissance aircraft, Polikarpov, R-5, an ancient biplane reconnaissance and light bomber design from the late 1920s that somehow survived into World War II. Slow, vulnerable, and obsolete, it served desperately in the early war months when nothing else was available. Most were used for night harassment bombing, where darkness provided protection. Polikarpov RZ, a modernized version of the R-5, featuring enclosed cockpits and improved performance, though still obsolete by 1941 standards. It served briefly in reconnaissance and liaison roles during the opening campaigns. Survivors were quickly relegated to training duties as better aircraft became available. Petlyakov, Pay-2R, a dedicated reconnaissance variant of the excellent Pay-2 bomber, with cameras replacing bomb racks. Its high speed made it difficult to intercept while gathering crucial intelligence. The pressurized cabin version could photograph German positions from extreme altitudes beyond the reach of fighters, experimental and specialized aircraft. Berezhnyak Isayev, BI-1, a radical rocket-powered interceptor designed for point defense against high-altitude bombers. Only a few prototypes were built before test pilot Grigory Bakhchivanji was killed in a crash. The volatile fuel and extremely short-powered flight time made it impractical for operational service. Polikarpov ETP, an experimental mixed-power fighter combining a conventional piston engine with an auxiliary rocket motor for brief speed bursts. Intended for high-altitude interception, it crashed during testing, killing the pilot. Development ceased as resources went to proven conventional designs. Mikoyan Gorevich, a FAR-250 Talman MiG-113, a unique mixed-power fighter featuring a piston engine driving a compressor for jet boost. This motor jet concept provided extra thrust without true jet engines. Tested in 1945, it showed promise, but jets were clearly the future, making it obsolete before entering production. Sukhoi Su-T-6, a heavily armored ground attack aircraft designed to replace the Il-2 with better performance and protection. Despite superior characteristics, the Il-2 was already in massive production, and changing designs mid-war risked disrupting output. Only prototypes were built, showing what might have been. Grushin Gre-1, an experimental tailless fighter exploring radical aerodynamic concepts for improved performance. Testing revealed control issues, and the design offered no significant advantages over conventional layouts. It remained a research curiosity while resources went to conventional proven fighters. This represents the complete Soviet air arsenal of World War II, from obsolete biplanes pressed into desperate service to advanced designs pointing toward the jet age.